Hello, everybody. This is Detroit Miracle coming to you from On the Spot and in the Dark. Well, I want to address the whole Chris Rock thing where he recently retaliated against Will Smith in his own way. And this retaliation came after a year, indeed. Well, a lot of people, and in fact, the whole world was waiting for Chris Rock to do something like this in order to make things a bit even. I know telling jokes about somebody doesn't really equal up to being slapped in front of the whole world, but it's better than nothing. Me, I would have hoped that Chris Rock could have found like another way, an alternative solution to that, other than getting up on stage and talking about Will Smith and his wife. Chris Rock could have challenged Will Smith to a contest of skills, such as a boxing match or something to that nature. That would have been more of a manly thing to do, but Chris Rock isn't a athletic type of person, and Will Smith is. Smith has had boxing lessons, karate lessons, weapons trainings, and all other types of combative things in order for him to be skilled enough to look effective in all of those action pictures and films. So challenging Will Smith wouldn't have been a great idea for Chris Rock to do. I know where I'm going with this is, unfortunately, when somebody makes a bad decision like that and resorts to violence, there's never really a clear resolution because one of the parties is always going to be upset, even if one apologizes to the other. We know Will Smith had apologized to Chris Rock a couple of times, but not to Chris Rock's face. And when you humiliate somebody like that on national TV, you can't just say, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I apologize. You can say that, and it takes a mature, responsible adult to do that, but it's not really enough. So it's best not to even take that extreme violent measure in the first place, because some things can't be undone once they've already been done, such as a violent act committed on someone. Well, Chris Rock got on stage and everybody is cheering and applauding because he's finally gotten his revenge against Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Yeah, many feel as though Jada Pinkett Smith was the one that instigated the whole thing, or Jada Pinkett Smith, that is. Yeah, they feel as though she instigated and hyped Will Smith up to go on stage and slap Chris Rock. People have their opinions on that matter. Some people say that Chris Rock was wrong for saying that hurtful thing about Will Smith's wife regarding her bald head, which resulted from a serious medical condition. So some people felt that Chris Rock was deserving to be slapped, and other people think that Chris Rock really, as a comedian, acted in accordance to his profession, because most comedians talk about people anyway. They roast people, they roast celebrities on a regular basis, on a yearly, I believe. And if you watch those celebrity roast, then the people that are being roasted they say much more hurtful, embarrassing things about them while they're right there on the spot, and everybody laughs it off. So we know comedians can be hurtful at times, but nevertheless, when you're in that industry, you got to learn to take things as they are and just, it doesn't mean much. They're just jokes. People say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt. Yeah, words don't hurt, but they do at the same time. They don't hurt physically, but they do mentally. But getting back to that, there are people that support Will Smith for slapping Chris Rock because they felt Chris Rock was out of line. And then there are those that support Chris Rock and say that, well, Will Smith shouldn't have took that extreme measure in doing that, or he could have waited and confronted Chris Rock backstage and slapped him away from prying eyes in the whole entire world. That would have been something to do. Or he could have quite simply told some insensitive jokes about Chris Rock and his wife. There are other ways to handle things like that. There's always other choices that are presented. So the thing with Will Smith is he has some kind of mental, emotional breakdown and it happens. Yeah, he's under tremendous pressure and everything in his marriage isn't going great. Hey, it happens to many, many people in relationships. You have your ups and downs, and then you have your evens where things are going just right. Okay. I know I'm not trying to get way off course here. Getting back to the Chris Rock thing, he essentially in that show said a lot of insensitive things. He said a whole lot of insensitive things about the Will Smith situation regarding him and his wife, but Chris Rock could have said even far worser things about Will Smith. So I'm thinking it was calculated. It was a strategic move on Chris Rock's part. He was selective in the types of jokes and the things that he said because he could have said far worse about Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. The special, he just said 10 minutes worth of stuff about Will Smith and Jada regarding their relationship, but he could have in fact did an hour-long show specifically about Will Smith and his wife, and Chris Rock could have said far worse damaging and embarrassing things. So I think the way he did it was strategic and it was well calculated and planned. And it is said that Chris Rock will earn he will earn an additional $40 million on top of his $60 million fortune. So people, these guys are rich. These people are rich. Look, we grew up in neighborhoods and at times we've had disagreements with others then there might have involved someone being slapped or jumped on. That's a part of life. Some might say, hey, you move on from it or you deal with it. But these guys, Will Smith, look at their fortunes. They are incredibly rich. They are incredibly wealthy. These aren't just nickel and dime entertainers. That damn dog is out there barking over there. Well, I'm going to cut this short. Okay, people, I'd appreciate your thoughts on this matter. So please give me your comments, drop those likes, and you are more than welcome to subscribe to me, Detroit Miracle. Have a good night.